sinner. I'm saved by grace. You hear that so many times throughout your life, especially when you're eager about getting closer to God. You keep hearing saved by grace. I'm saved by grace. I want to explain to you guys what saved by grace is through my stories. And that's what this is introducing, is my stories. And it's not Mike Pilgrim's stories. This is God's stories through Mike Pilgrim. And understand that you're going to fall over and over and over again. You're going to keep getting up. And that's what God teaches us to do, is to keep getting up. And there's a scripture that for years and years I've had as a signature on my email that recently has hit me, that kind of made me say, you know what, it's time for you to get off your butt and start this thing, and let's go. Like, let's get this done. Let's talk to people. Let's advocate for God. Let's be there for people that want to come in and understand more about God, about Jesus, about what he did for us, about the sacrifices he made for us, about the things that every single day we take for granted, that God's right beside us through everything that we do, through every step that we take and every mistake that we make. God is right there beside us. And you have to understand, in Galatians, Paul is talking to the people of Galatia about their faith and about how to move forward and about getting through hard times. And my scripture, when I put it on my story, or when I put it on my email, I didn't realize how impactful it was to my life at that time. But it's Galatians 6:9. Do not grow weary of doing good, for in due time you will reap a harvest. And of course, it's not verbatim, but it is a scripture that when I chose that scripture, I was having a hard time doing good. I was having a really hard time focusing on good. When I come from a middle class family. Mom and dad still together, still live in the same house I grew up in. I was very fortunate. I had a crazy good childhood, better than most people that I know now in my adult life. But as a middle child, I don't know what the breakthrough was. I don't know what it was that made me flip that switch. But I remember in 1989, I was 13 years old. I saw my dad go through something that was just crazy in my life. In my life of every other weekend going to the beach and going on vacations when we wanted to and doing whatever we wanted to as a family financially, that broke down when I was 13 years old. And it broke down because my dad lost a business that he had worked really hard to try to keep, but out of his control, that business faltered and he wasn't able to pick it back up or pick up the pieces. So he had to shut it down, and then he had to pick up the pieces from there. And I watched my mom and my dad go through such a trying time in their relationship, such a trying time in their marriage. It's the only real time in my life that I can remember seeing my parents argue and fuss like daily. It was just a hard time. And what's crazy is in that same year I went to church. I found a church to go to, and I picked up some friends of mine from a youth group, and we started going to church together. And at 13 years old, that same year, I got baptized. When you get baptized, the enemy comes on you, and he comes on you hard. Well, I allowed him to do that. I allowed all the turmoil in my personal life at home and all the transitions that were going on in my life at the time as a 13-year-old. You know, you're already 13. Your parents are going through something. You just saw your dad lose his business. You see him working a full-time job during the day and then going into a convenience store at night to try to catch up on his debts. So he's working 15, 16 hours a day to try to make ends meet for your family. You're just seeing a lot. But I read this morning in Matthew that when Jesus goes to get baptized by John, as soon as he gets baptized, and I'm trying to find the actual scripture itself, but as soon as he gets baptized, he is attacked. He is attacked. So he gets baptized in Matthew chapter 3, and the very next thing he did was that he was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted there by the devil. For 40 days and 40 nights he fasted and became very hungry. Matthew 4:1. So it was an attack. It was an attack on me, and I gave in. I was 13. So from 13 to 18, 19, 20, all the way up into my late 20s, I was this guy that was really desperate to find the good in life, to find the things I could do good that would be good to show to other people or to help other people through life. At the time, all I thought about was me. How can I make more money? How can I get more girlfriends? How can I have a life that's free, that I don't have to do anything? How can I get drunk every weekend and not have to worry about it? What are the things I can do to get me to that point? Not what are the things I could do to make me a better person. Not what were the things I could do to get me closer to God. I had almost forgot about the baptism. The baptism was gone. I did so many crazy things. And I didn't come from a background that should have had crazy things in my future. My parents raised us to have deep morals. We didn't go to church a lot as young kids. I actually got my parents back involved in church when I was 13. So they go into church and I come out. I'm 46 now. I got baptized last year. Right here. Not in this river, but at this town commons in Greenville, my home city. Life changing. I was more prepared for the attack this time than I was the other time in my life, and throughout all those years, I never went back. What I'm here to tell you, friends, is that it's not always an easy path. But if you want peace in your life, if you want to get rid of the negative, if you want to not have to worry every day on what's going to happen tomorrow, there's plenty of worry for tomorrow. Worry about today. The Bible tells us all of that. This is a book of instruction for us to go by. I want to come at you with real life testimony from me, talking about scripture that allows you to see through me how easy it is just to take the step. Take the step. Allow God to come into your life and start changing and rearranging who you are. You don't even know that it's happening until it's gone. I have habits that I did for years and years and years, and they've left me. I have no idea how they left, when they left, but I know why they left. And I know that the closer I get, the more peaceful I am. The more abundant my life becomes. The more my marriage works. The more my relationships work with people. The more I wake up happy. I want to be used as a tool by God. I want God to use me. And I want God to use my wife. And I want us as a family, as with my girls, I want us to build something that people can look at and say, wow, that guy came from the gutter, but look at him now. Now he's teaching people how to get out of the gutter. He has been the gutter guy. I have been a criminal. I have been a drug addict. I have been an alcoholic. But God made me know. This made me know. Come along for the ride. We're in. We're doing it. We're going to continue it. And with the support of the people around me, with the support of Rehab, which is an organization that we've created, a charity organization, with the support of that, with the support of our board and all the members of that, we're going to make this happen, and we're going to show you a different way than what you think is the right way. If you've never looked at God, if you've never thought about God, if you've never talked to God, if you've never read about God, and you're interested, reach out. Let me help you on the path. I want nothing from you other than you to have a more peaceful life. I love you. Real life testimony.